Poly, and I'm joined today by one of our admissions officers, Linda Mondragon, who's going to help me with any questions that maybe pop up in the chat or things like that. But today we're going to talk a little bit just about general Cal Poly information. We'll also talk about the transfer selection criteria and different things regarding Cal Poly as a whole. So you can hold your questions for the end. There should be time at the end for questions. You can also put running questions in the chat if you like, and Linda will be happy to respond as we go. First and foremost, if you want more information about Cal Poly, if you scan the QR code, that will bring you to our Cal Poly brochure. So it will give you some more general information regarding Cal Poly just right off the bat. So as I said, we're here from Cal Poly, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So for starters, Cal Poly at a glance. So many of you may be aware, but Cal Poly is located in San Luis Obispo. It's a Central Coast location about halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. We are a college town. So, San Luis Obispo is about 40,000+ full-time residents with, our roughly just over 22,000 students. So 21,447 undergraduates and 905 graduate or post-baccalaureate students. One of the big things about Cal Poly is we are known as an undergraduate serving institution. Now, you may ask, what does that mean? What that really means is that, as you can see, the vast majority of our students are undergraduates. And so all of those opportunities that a lot of other schools may go to graduate level or doctoral level students, those are all actually for the most part going to be given to undergraduate students. So those research opportunities, those internships, those things like that, that students work on with their professors are typically offered to undergraduate students who are in the classrooms and in the labs with all the instructors. I believe it's 30+ years in a row that we've been voted the best in the West public master's level university. So this is a big deal for us, something we're very proud of, and something that we love to talk about. As far as some quick facts about Cal Poly, so learn by doing. We are a polytechnic university. What that means is learning with both the hands and the mind. Okay, so learn by doing. So what that means is that in every single one of our 64 majors, there are examples of learn by doing. This could be everything from, you see what's likely a wine and viticulture major out here, working in the fields with the grapes. You can also see what's likely a computer science or computer engineer working with the schematics in the middle. But in general, really, every single one of our majors has learn by doing examples. Our goal is to have our students be ready day one to go out and make an impact in their field of study. We do use an upside down or blended curriculum. That comes into play in our transfer selection criteria because students do begin their stay or their career at Cal Poly taking their major-related courses as opposed to 2 years of general education requirements. And that does actually impact what we require transfer students to take prior to transferring, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We do have small class sizes, so our average class size is about 32 students, and our student to faculty ratio is currently 19:1. Mentioned the 64 majors. We also have 89 minors and 50 graduate programs. So definitely a lot of different options here. Here are our 6 colleges. So the university itself is broken down into 6 colleges, 64 majors, 89 minors. You can see kind of how the majors break down by college here. College of Ag, Food and Environmental Sciences, the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, the Orfalea College of Business, College of Engineering, College of Liberal Arts, and the Bailey College of Science and Mathematics. So definitely see how that plays out. You can see the link in the bottom of the screen if you want to take a closer look at that as well. Okay, as far as Cal Poly campus life, so we do have 400+ clubs and organizations on campus. I do also state if you arrive on campus and we don't have a club or organization for your area of interest, students are encouraged to start new clubs and organizations all the time, and funding is available for those opportunities as well. So working with our Associated Students Incorporated, you can definitely do that and start your club. They'll give you a budget, things like that. We do have a top-rated orientation and new student programs. All of our teams, we do have Division I athletics and club and intramural sports. This is actually a really fun thing. Intramural sports, they actually have different divisions, so Division I through III. So it could be that you're an uber competitive soccer player who wants to play intramurals at the highest level, or it could just be you want to, form a soccer team in Division III that's literally the people hanging around, hanging around at the dining hall. So, definitely a lot of opportunities here for students to be involved and have fun. We do also have a transfer center on campus. Our function of the transfer center, so most of you coming from schools have transfer centers that are supposed to help you transfer from your community college to a university. Well, our transfer center is actually geared to making transfer students feel welcome, help them with that transition from, their community college into the university setting, create community, things like that. So that was opened actually in the, believe it or not, January 2020, and it's going strong. It's a really, really great resource for our transfer students on campus. They have a space on campus. So, if you're a student maybe that's even commuting or you're looking for a place to hang out, there is a space where you can go. They have a refrigerator, a printer, things like that to help our transfer students feel welcome and be successful. Also like to talk about our student diversity and belonging. So it's definitely a collaborative and campus resource, a collaborative effort of campus resource centers that serve an active role in creating a cultural rich environment at Cal Poly's campus and in San Luis. So you can see some of the partner centers here: Black Academic Excellence Center, the Dream Center, Gender Equity Center, Men and Masculinities, Multicultural Center, LGBTQ and Campus Life, Pride Center, Native American Indigenous Cultural Center, and the Latinx Cultural Center, La Casa, which opened, I believe, in the fall of 2023. So it's been open now for a little over a year. Okay, I do like to talk a little bit about the graduate status report because this is a really important thing. So you can see here for our graduates, and this is looking at, I believe it's 2022 graduates. You can see 91% of them are positively engaged. You can see what they're doing, 71% working full time, et cetera. You can also see, and the big thing here is employment timeline. So 71% of our graduates are actually walking across the stage at graduation with a job offer in hand. You can see then if you add that all up, was it 99% are employed within 9 months. So definitely a big thing. And then the big thing here is actually major related jobs. So 93% of the 99% that are employed within 9 months have jobs or found jobs related to their major. So this is a really, really big accomplishment. It's a big deal for us. It's something we're very proud of. And then you can see some of the top selected graduate schools. There are over 700 employers that actively recruit our graduates. That whole learn by doing, ready day one, that makes a huge difference when we're talking about, employers wanting to hire Cal Poly graduates because the learning curve is less. You guys, Cal Poly graduates are coming in, they've had they've had experience using equipment, processes, things like that. So employers really, like hiring Cal Poly grads for that reason. Okay. Any questions about anything up to this point? I didn't see. Are there any questions in the chat or anything? Okay. Nope. Good. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how to apply to Cal Poly and what you need to do. So here's a kind of overview of our transfer selection criteria. So when we're looking at transfer students, there's essentially 4 different areas that we are looking at. The first thing is we are looking at your overall undergraduate GPA up to the fall of application. So if you're looking to apply for the fall 2025, we'll be looking at your GPA through fall of 2024. What happens essentially is you fill out your application during the fall of 2024. We'll talk about timing with that in a minute. You'll fill that out. Everything that you're taking in the fall will be in progress. Spring coursework will be planned. You'll then have an opportunity in January to go in and do an update in Cal State Apply, where you'll update your fall grades and your spring work in progress. So we'll use those grades from that fall in your GPA calculation. Next thing, and these are not in any particular order, but we also look at how much of your general education requirements you've completed. So we will evaluate that to see how far along you are with that. The third thing is the major specific coursework. So one of the things when you apply to Cal Poly, you're going to be applying to a specific major. And every single major has a major specific selection criteria. You can see I've linked out, you can see the page address down at the bottom of the slide, but you go in here, you select your major, and that will give you the courses that we're looking for that we'll be evaluating for transfer applicants. Now, every major has required classes. Those are just that. Any student who doesn't have the required courses won't be competitive in the selection process. Many majors also have desired courses. Now, these are courses that you can take to make yourself more competitive in the process, right? So what you want to do is you look at Cal Poly's website to see what courses we're looking for. You would then look, and you can see here evaluating your courses, you would then look at assist.org to see what courses at your community college you need to take in order to meet those courses. The last thing we look at are non-cognitive variables. So this would be like your extracurricular activities and work experience. One thing I will say about this area of the application and the review process is we are a state-funded institution, so we have to be as objective as possible in everything that we evaluate. So for the extracurricular activities and work experience, there's going to be essentially two different questions related to this. It's really going to look at the average number of hours that you participate in extracurricular activities, and then it's going to ask for extracurricular activities, whether you hold a leadership position, were you an officer of the club, a captain of the team, things like that. And then for work experience, it's going to ask very similar questions. How many hours per week on average do you work? As well as whether your work experience is more than 25% related to your major. I will say the transfer supplemental application itself, this is actually now the Cal State Apply update. But if there are any students in the room, and I believe we're talking more STEM majors, but if there are any students who might be interested in music or architecture and art and design, there are some additional steps. There's the academic review, and then there's an audition for music or a portfolio for architecture or art and design. Did not go anywhere. Try that again. Okay, when and where to apply. So many of you may be familiar with Cal State Apply. This is the CSU application, so you can apply to all of our 23 campuses using the same application. We do talk a little bit about EOP, so if you are interested in EOP, we do have an EOP program here as well. Some of the benefits are listed here. This says fall 2024, but for fall 2025 and every year, actually, the Cal State Apply and EOP application filing period for Cal Poly is always October 1st to November 30th. So what I typically say is you can get in there and start your application in early October. There's no points for submitting it quickly. All applications submitted by November 30th receive the same consideration. I generally advise that students kind of work through this and that they're ready to submit their application generally right around Thanksgiving, kind of gives you time to review it, keeping in mind that we're going to use your self-reported information to make our admissions decisions. So you want to make sure that everything is accurate and there aren't any mistakes out there. Okay, again, just kind of a sample timeline. You can see here, October 1st to November 30th, the application filing period. You can see in December, typically by December, students will receive their email to complete their, to set up their Cal Poly portal. I'll skip January 15th because that only applies to our first year students. You can see here for January 31st is a transfer application updates due in Cal State Apply. For those other three majors that I mentioned, it is January 15th. You can see also January 31st if you're applying for EOP, those letters of recommendation are due. In a typical year, the priority deadline for FAFSA or California DREAM Act is March 2nd. This year, due to the FAFSA simplification, it got changed a little bit. What it didn't change was we do have an admissions decision out to all students by April 1st. This year, open house was April 11th to 13th. In a typical year, the deadline for students to accept their offer of admission would be May 1st. For the fall 2024 only, again, because of the FAFSA simplification, this year, that deadline is May 15th. And then the date that doesn't change is July 15th is the deadline for students to submit all their final transcripts with their spring grades posted. One of the things I do like to highlight, I know we're meeting over Zoom today, but if you are ever able to come to campus, we do offer general campus tours with admissions presentations similar to this one. We do also college-specific tours. So, the College of Engineering is one of my favorites, or College of Architecture and Environmental Design, College of Science and Math. All of our colleges offer those college-specific tours. We do also offer housing tours. So for transfer students, we do offer some transfer housing, though it is on a first-come, first-served basis. So that's something that you can tour as well. And I do have the website to kind of look at the visit options here. So you can take a look at that and schedule a visit if you're able to come see us. Beyond that, just want to make sure you stay connected. This got cut off a little bit, but you can contact us, calpoly.edu admissions/contact. We'll give you our email address, our phone number. We are available on the phone Monday through Friday, 8:12 to 5. I do, want to highlight, we are here to help you. We're here as a resource. We want you all to be successful. So don't ever hesitate to give us an email, give us a call. It's our full-time staff, our admissions officers like Linda, who's with us today, who are answering those calls and those emails. So definitely very knowledgeable staff on the whole process. And then please, feel free to give us a follow on both Instagram or YouTube. The YouTube channel, I will say, we try to keep a lot of fun content up there, especially, well, all times of year. But one of the great things we do is during application filing period, we go through and we create videos on every aspect of the application. There are videos out there on the transfer selection criteria. There's videos out there on all these different areas that are kind of, broken down to smaller, more digestible pieces. So definitely give us a follow there. And then our Instagram account is also a lot of fun stuff, trying to, put engaging things out there. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so that I can see again. Any questions from anyone about any of the information that I just presented? Really?
Josh, would you mind if I'm going to put you on the spot?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I were to give you kind of a student who is coming in from a California community college who wants to major in electrical engineering,
Yeah.
can you kind of show the resources online where they would find the information, like what steps they would go through to see?
I can absolutely do that.
Okay.
So let me do this. Let's go ahead. Okay. So I'm just going to start on our Cal Poly's homepage. And so if you start here, what you would do is you would go to apply. And then under transfer student, you want to go ahead and choose the selection criteria for transfer students. That will take you to this page here. You can see here, it goes through basically what I just presented in that slide. You can see, the GPA, extracurricular activities, work experience, general education. One thing I didn't highlight is that we only accept upper division transfer students. So in order to transfer to Cal Poly, because we're impacted, by the spring prior to transferring, you have to have all the coursework you use for admission, as well as 60 transferable semester or 90 transferable quarter units completed. But that being said, for the selection criteria right here under your intended program of study, you click on selection criteria, and this is where you choose your major. So for electrical engineering, you'll just scroll down on this list, and you'll go ahead and you'll click on this and click submit. And this will bring up, now fall 2025 is coming soon, but if you look at this, this is actually a perfect example of a major that has all required courses. So you can see the required courses here. This is very familiar to you, right? This is actually what we call your golden force, or your speech, written communication, and your critical thinking. Then you have a calculus sequence, a physics sequence, a chem class, and then these major related courses, the computer science, and then the circuit analysis. So this is where you would find that information as far as what courses to take. Yeah. Any questions about that? Or anybody want to see that again?
Kind of going off of this, I was wondering if AP scores from high school will meet like major specific required courses.
That's a great question. So you can use AP scores, right? Not courses, but you can use AP scores from high school to meet admissions requirements. Most commonly, we see that with English composition, which can be used to meet, the written communication or English composition requirement. You can also do that. Calculus, if you took calc in high school, you're taking an AP score, or physics or chem, in this particular example. Also can be used to meet, I think actually CSC 101 is one of them. Let me see here. If I open a new tab, can you guys see the new tab open?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So if you go to registrar.calpoly.edu/other, it stands for other academic credit. Okay, so if you actually go to the office of the registrar, you can actually see here Is it under plan your degree? I believe. I drop down. None of the drop downs want to work for me. That's fun. There we go. If you come under plan your degree, you can actually see AP IB credit. What's really great about this is it actually lists either the AP or IB, the year the exam was taken. So let's say I'm taking one in spring 2024. I know obviously for most of you this won't be the case, but this is just an example. There's this matrix out here, excuse me, that will tell you, here are the different AP scores. I'm sorry, the different AP exams. And here are the scores. And so it will tell you, oh, hey, here's computer science, right? I got a 4 on my computer science A AP exam. Well, that will give me credit at Cal Poly for CSC or CPE 101. Every 3 or higher on an AP exam will typically earn you 9 units at Cal Poly in quarter units, be 6 semester units. So you can look at this and figure out what your AP scores will get you credit for. Now, one thing I want to highlight is, even if you've already provided those AP scores to your college and they've assigned credit on your transcript, in order to get credit for those courses at Cal Poly, if you're offered admission, you will need to send those official scores so that they can be evaluated and added to your record at Cal Poly. Good question. Any other questions? And I want to make sure, did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions about the transfer selection criteria, anything specific?
Josh, can you explain the difference between the required and the recommended?
Yeah, so required are just that. I always look at this like, if a student is missing a required course, they will not be competitive in the admissions process. So it's critical that students take at minimum the required courses in order to be even somewhat competitive in that process. Recommended / desired courses are courses that students can take that will make them more competitive. So one of the things you need to keep in mind is, as an applicant, you're going to apply to a specific major and you're only going to compete with other applicants to that major. So, if you're applying to electrical engineering, you're only going to be competing against other electrical engineers. Now, in electrical engineering's case, they're all required courses, so there's no way to kind of set yourself apart. But there are lots of majors, including several, many engineering majors that have desired courses, is what we call them. Okay, those are ways. The thing is, in that applicant pool, all eligible students are going to have all the required courses. So, and they may all have decent GPAs, right? So you start thinking about, how do you compare against the applicant pool? So really, when you think about the desired courses, these are ways for you to gain more consideration and set yourself apart from other applicants maybe that don't have the desired / recommended courses. You can look at it as, you're receiving additional consideration, right? That's a good way to kind of articulate it. I always advise, if possible, students, try and complete as many of the desired courses as possible, because that's going to make you as competitive as possible in the process. Yep. Any questions about that?
Josh, can you speak to the Cal Poly admissions process, especially when it comes to STEM students, and where the emphasis should be, major prep versus the general education?
Yeah, so really, I talked a little bit about how we are looking at both how much of your general education requirements, as well as you've completed, as well as kind of that major course selection criteria. The most important part is going to be the required courses, right? Because without them, you're not at all competitive. But then you want to strike a balance between general education and and your maybe the desired courses in that selection criteria, right? What I would be having conversations is, I would be taking that transfer selection criteria from Cal Poly to my transfer center, to my counselor, and saying, hey, let's look at my transcript, let's look at what I've already taken, and how do I get as close as possible to completing my general education requirements while also making sure that A, I've taken all the required courses for that particular major, but also potentially sprinkled in some desired courses if that's possible as well. The most competitive applicant is going to have taken the required courses, the desired courses, and completed all of their general education requirements with the highest GPA possible. That's really, if you want to kind of make sure that you are as competitive as possible, as far as academically, that's going to be the best path. Yeah.
Any advice that you would have for students who have been admitted for fall 24?
Yeah, the best thing you can do, and actually, just by show of hands, how many students? I know we have a couple of centers on, but as far as the other students in the room, how many students have been offered admission? 2 here. Okay, that's fantastic. Congratulations, first of all. I will tell you that this was one of our most competitive years ever. So we had over 79,000 applications this year for 6,300 spaces. So an amazing accomplishment to have been offered admission this year. For admitted students, a couple things I would say is, number one, the sooner, that's awesome. Yes, I will be actually out at Cuesta for their transfer celebration tomorrow morning. So anyone that's listening from Cuesta, feel free to stop by and say hello. The number one thing is sending us transcripts as soon as possible, even if they're in progress transcripts. So keeping in mind, right, all students are conditionally admitted based on their self-reported information, right? So your admission does not become official until we've been able to review your file, your self-reported information, with an official transcript. So even sending us an in-progress transcript right now that has your fall grades and your spring work in progress is helpful to us in starting our review process. The other thing that it allows is it allows our evaluators to begin evaluating your transcripts for transfer credit. So the sooner you can allow us to start that process, the smoother it's all going to be as we kind of move forward. So that's one piece of advice. The other thing I would advise is, definitely try and stay involved. There is our orientation programs, our student life orientation for transfer students that's happening this year in late July, as well as our week of welcome that happens in September. The big thing, and I'll tell you, actually both Linda and I were transfer students. And the big thing for me, and the biggest piece of advice I can give is 2 things. One, you deserve to be here, right? It can be hard transferring to a 4-year university where you're coming in and students have been here for 2 years and things like that. You got here, and that's amazing. And you need to lean into that and be confident of that. The second thing I would say is work on finding your community here, right? We have our transfer center. You have those kind of the week of welcome and the student life orientation days to meet people and network and things like that. Those are really 2 big things that I would kind of focus in on. Just from my own personal experience, it definitely makes a huge difference. We want our transfer students to be successful, and we're so excited to have them here and what they bring to our community. So that's a very big deal. Linda, anything you would say in addition to that, having been a transfer student yourself?
For admitted or for students who are applying?
I would say for admitted.
Definitely look at the organizations within your major. I find that they tend to find their groups there, their people, and then they kind of make friendships throughout your entire program. And it helps when you're looking for housing too, if you're planning on not living on campus. And then just really taking advantage of like all office hours with your advisors and your faculty once you're here, and really just embrace it, because even though you're a transfer, it's your college experience. So take it all in.
Awesome. Any other questions or things that you guys would like to learn about that I can help with?
Can you talk about the difference between following assist and following the transfer selection criteria?
Absolutely, I can. Christine, thank you for bringing that up. So let me talk a little bit of what I'll call the order of operations, right? It can be very easy to go out to assist. And for some of our majors, you're going to see that there is just an incredibly long list of courses that are listed there. The best way to figure out what you need to do to be a competitive applicant to Cal Poly is go look at our transfer selection criteria. I know right now the fall 2025 for most majors hasn't been posted yet, but in most cases there's going to be little or no change to the selection criteria between fall 2024 and fall 2025. Looking at that list of courses first, and then going out to assist and looking, at what classes you need to take at your college to meet the requirements that we're looking for is definitely the correct way to do it. Assist is not the end all be all on the transfer selection criteria. It simply is a resource that you can use to figure out what classes you need to take at your college to meet the requirements and or desired classes at Cal Poly. Yeah. Yep.
Thanks for saying that, Josh, because it in some of the majors, especially in the STEM areas, there's not too many things that are not on assist that aren't on the selection criteria. But an example, mechanical engineering, for a college like Allen Hancock College, we have a long list of articulated classes on assist, and a lot of times students will start doing all of those classes, and they don't need all of them to be competitive to apply to Cal Poly. So I know at Allen Hancock College with a mechanical engineering major, what we will do is prioritize the needed GE that we know that we need for admissions, and prioritize the required classes as well as the desired classes. But things that are left on the assist agreement after that don't necessarily are listed on the transfer selection criteria, and potentially, some remaining general ed, a student can start to apply.
Correct.
And see what happens. And if Cal Poly is one of their number one choices, any remaining courses, they can always stay at their community college if not admitted their first time and reapply to Cal Poly for a year. So I think, it's so important. Students that are attending colleges that don't work with the selection criteria a lot, like with Cal Poly, it's so important for students to understand that unlike most universities across the state where assist is the first place to go, that's not necessarily true for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
I love that you brought that up. And the other thing that I'll highlight, which you kind of touched on, the other courses that are on assist that we're not looking for are not going to help you, whereas the required, desired, and general education courses are in that way more valuable to you if Cal Poly is your number one choice. So focusing on them first. And then the other thing you reminded me just to point out, students are applying in fall, right? So the students are admitted for fall 2024 applied in the fall of 2023. What happens is we give you consideration for anything that you listed in progress and anything you had planned for spring. So that's the other thing. If you're looking to apply to Cal Poly, know that, the courses that you use for admission need to be completed by the spring prior to transferring, right? So the students that have applied and been admitted for fall 2024, their coursework we're looking at goes through, I think there's maybe about 2 weeks left in the semester or something like that. So we're looking at that spring coursework. We give you consideration for it as if you've already done it. And that's where the final transcript comes in as far as verification goes.
So you bring up an interesting point, because I get asked this a lot too.
Yeah.
Let's say I got into Cal Poly and something happens in my life, and for whatever reason I'm not able to go, or students think that if they turn Cal Poly down, that the next time they apply, it will affect the admissions decision.
Such a good question. It doesn't. I will tell you that every application to Cal Poly is its own separate thing. Okay. So the other thing I will point out, and we get the question about deferrals a lot, right? And so I will tell you, as an impacted university, and just as a general policy, we don't allow deferrals. That being said, students can submit requests that are evaluated on a case-by-case basis. So, for the student that Christine is talking about who has something, happen in their life, whether it be family, personal, medical, all those kinds of things, that all of a sudden your plans need to change and you're not able to, attend Cal Poly for the term you were admitted to. you have an option to submit a request. Hey, I'd like to defer my admission. As I mentioned, all of these requests are considered on a case-by-case basis. So by no means is there a guarantee that you'd be able to do that. But I just want to make sure that if a student has something like that happen, you should, definitely exhaust all of your options before saying no if this is your dream school. Because it's the type of thing we work with students sometimes where there's, a family situation or a medical issue where they were admitted for fall and they're not able to attend for fall, but they would like to come in January for winter. And you can actually, the request for a deferment can be anywhere from a quarter to a full year. So I always like to put that out there, even though it is an exception and there's a process for it. I just want to make sure, that students understand that, there are resources and there is help available, and there are, people here to help you support, help support you through the process. So yeah.
Josh, the 4 areas that Cal Poly is primarily looking at, right? The desired and required classes, the GPA, the general education, and the extracurricular activities. Can you speak to kind of how students would necessarily prioritize that? And a lot of times I have students that are thinking, oh my gosh, I have to run out and get involved in all these extracurricular activities.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is the academic pieces, the coursework, the GE, the major specific, and the GPA are definitely more heavily weighted in the process than the extracurricular activities and the work experience. That being said, so I'm just going to take a sip of this water really quick. That being said, in an uber competitive major, right? I mean, I have some majors this year that have 1,800 applicants for 200 spaces, in an uber competitive, program or major that you're applying to, every little bit can make a difference. So if you are able to, in addition to focusing on your academics, add some extracurricular activities, clubs, things like that, or add a little bit of work experience, it doesn't have to be related to your major. Those things can help, right? But certainly the academic factors should be the primary focus because they are most heavily weighted in the selection process. Let's see.
There's a question in the chat, I think.
Yeah, so actually, so for the districts, right? So for the Ventura Community College District, you only need to submit 1 transcript. It will include all of your courses from all 3 colleges. So those all appear on the same transcript. So just 1 from the Ventura Community College District is necessary, VCC. Yep.
That is an interesting point too, is making sure that if you have attended multiple schools when you have been admitted, even if it's AP, you do have to send an AP transcript separate, because even if we post it, even if your California Community College posts it on their transcripts, it has to be a separate record sent to you guys.
Yeah, the official score. There is a way now, I believe, to send them from through Cal State Apply. I mean, there are a lot of different methods you can do that. I do have a question in the chat directly to me about a student who didn't get accepted and would like to reapply for fall 2025. So the first thing I would be looking at is I would be looking at the transfer selection criteria and evaluating, did I have, if it was a major that had required and desired courses, did I have all of, the required and all of the desired? If I did have all those courses, I'd then be looking at my general education requirements. Are there any, holes or, things where maybe I could take a class that will fulfill this requirement, that kind of thing. The next thing I'd be looking at is the extracurricular. I mean, I would essentially just kind of go down the line of the things we're reviewing, and I would also look at, my GPA. So if there were any grades, like if I got a D in something or something like that I never repeated, I would be working with my transfer center and my transfer counselor to look at, hey, can I repeat that class to get a better grade so that my GPA comes up a little bit. So those would essentially be the things that I'd be looking at. If you really are not sure, if you've looked at everything that I have just described and you feel that you did everything, I mean, unfortunately, it could really just be that this year we had, an extraordinary number of applications. I talked about the 1800. I also was looking at a major yesterday. We had 56 applicants for 2 spaces. So there are just some majors, right? It can be major specific that are just severely impacted, and it's always going to be really, really difficult and highly selective. But if you have specific questions about your application, if you're saying, hey, Josh came and presented and I looked at all those things and, I feel like I did this, I would highly recommend giving our office a call. You can call us. We're available Monday through Friday, 12 to 5. One of the admissions officers is potentially able to kind of walk you through these things, and kind of have a conversation about how you can make yourself more competitive the following year.
Another question I get a lot, Josh, from students is, well, my mom works at Poly, or and she knows somebody, or my aunt has a cousin that works there, or I can get letters of recommendation because my dad graduated from there. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, so first of all, I will start with speaking to a couple of different pieces. One, let's start with the letters of recommendation. So as a state-funded institution, we are not able to consider, I'll put it here. We're only able to consider things that are submitted through the Cal State Apply application. So any additional materials that are submitted, resumes, letters of recommendation, I don't know. Anything else that you might submit is not considered, it cannot be considered in the selection process. There are some ways that students do get additional consideration, or can get additional consideration in the selection process. One of those ways applies to every single one of you who is attending a California community college. We do, for students that are qualified based on major, give students additional consideration for being a California community college student. The same is true if you take an associate's degree for transfer. And now we're up to 11 associate degrees for transfer. They're on our website. So students who complete an associate's degree for transfer can also be given additional consideration in the selection process. Beyond that, any students who graduate who are considered in our local service area, so this is not going to be all inclusive of everybody in the room, but I'm sure that there are some students in the room who have graduated from a local high school within our local service area, typically goes up into really, really southern pieces of Monterey County, all the way down into northern Santa Barbara County, talking like Santa Ynez Valley, Lompoc, Santa Maria proper, things like that, okay? If you graduated from high school, from one of those schools in that local service area, we do also potentially give additional consideration as a CSU to our local service area students. Now, Christine, as far as your question about my parent went to Cal Poly, or I have a friend at Cal Poly, or things like that, I don't know what used to happen at Cal Poly, but what I can promise you is I've been here for 10 years and we do not take any of that into consideration. So it's really based on the information you provide in your application, as well as, a couple of the additional things that I just mentioned. Any other questions?
Can you speak to housing a little bit? Any advice on housing?
Yeah. What I would tell transfer students is if you want to live on campus, for the ones that are admitted for fall 2024, I believe actually transfer housing is currently full. So right now they're just running an interest list. But for students that are applying to future terms, if you want to come to Cal Poly and living on campus is critical to that happening, the sooner that you accept your offer of admission and apply for housing as a transfer student, typically what we find is that transfer housing fills up right around open house, which is typically in that, let's say second week of April. So usually we start sending out our admissions decisions somewhere in the first couple weeks of March. So really, transfer students who want to come to Cal Poly and live on campus have about a month to accept that offer of admission and fill out their housing application to do that. Beyond that, really, there is a lot of off-campus housing, but it's also just critical that if you know that you need a place to live to come to Cal Poly, that you definitely need to be proactive in that search because it can be complicated. We have a lot of resources out there. We actually have an off-campus housing coordinator on staff now that can help with a lot of those questions and a lot of that process. So we try to assist as best we can. But yeah, living on campus can be, it happens very quickly. So that's what I would say. And if you have any questions, if you're a currently admitted student who didn't do that, you can reach out to housing. They'll put you on their essentially their wait list. I will tell you, in most years, they get very close to or are able to offer housing to all students that end up on the on-campus housing wait list for transfer students. So because our transfer students do live in the Poly Canyon Village. So our first year students live down, I say down here because our admissions office is located right in the middle of our Yaqui Tutu residential community. But our transfer students actually live in our Poly Canyon Village, which is more apartment style living. So you're talking about, most of the time, 4 to 6 single rooms that all kind of share a suite style with a couple bathrooms and a kitchen and a common area. So it is kind of like living in an apartment on campus. Poly Canyon Village is really great up there. It's its own little, essentially condo complex. I mean, there's a Taco Bell up there. There's an Einstein Bagels, Jamba Juice, pools. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on up there. Yeah. Yep. Well, to answer your question, Bruce, I know the last 2 years they've been able to accommodate the students on the interest list. But that I don't know for sure, what that will look like this year. But I know for the last 2 years, the issue with that, right, is you may not find out until in August at some point. And by that point, you may have already signed a lease somewhere or something like that. So definitely something to take into consideration.
Last final question for me. How's Cal Poly doing with financial aid debacle this year?
You mean the FAFSA simplification?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I say simplification in the most exaggerated air quotes that I can possibly have. I will tell you that as far as I know at this point, any student that has submitted the FAFSA has their financial aid available to them in their Cal Poly portal. There are also our students, California Dream Act and, things like that. That's ongoing, but I believe the state actually rolled out a new separate process for students that were experiencing difficulty with that. So they're working through that rapidly, as quickly as they can. As fast as that information gets submitted and they can get everything verified, they're posting awards as quickly as possible. So I'm overjoyed and over the moon with our financial aid staff this year. They have given the circumstances, they got, packages out there as quickly as possible. So, yeah. The only other thing I want to make sure that you all are very, very aware of, 2 things. 1, we are here to help. Okay. So I don't care how small you think the question is. I don't care, any of that stuff. Please call us, please email us, please reach out. We want to help every single one of you be successful and hopefully see you at Cal Poly. The second thing I would say, and this is more to Christine or the Cuesta College Mesa, just the Mesa groups in general. We would love to see you all on campus. So please come visit us. As long as we have enough time, we are here to help and want to roll out the red carpet for you as groups, to provide as much resource and information as we can. So I encourage you all, you guys can reach out to me directly. I can connect you with our Assistant Director of Student Engagement, as well as our Welcome Center, to see what services, what things we're able to offer. But really, we'd love to see as many of you on campus as well.
Josh, remind me of the phone number, 805-756
2311.
2311. 2311. Yeah,
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
I'm just putting that in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, and actually, Linda, can you throw the contact page in there as well? Give us 1 second. We'll get you that contact page also, which will have all this information, our email, everything.
Any final questions or information that you all would like to know on Cal Poly? Josh and Linda, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. It's been awesome. I hope to continue this effort to get the correct information out about admissions amongst our STEM students. because it is a challenge because you do have a unique process. And but it's not a hard process to understand. It's just it's unique.
Mhm.
So not all, counselors amongst the state know about it. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with the students on the Central Coast to provide that education. And hopefully we'll look forward to, we actually, C6, each of the colleges brings up busloads of
That's
students.
what I thought. Yeah, I know I've presented to that group before.
Yes. So the C6 colleges will be bringing busloads again of
Fantastic. I love
our
it.
C6 students to the research symposium, which will be in October
Awesome.
on a Friday. So we look forward. Students can also connect with you because usually you're there and around. At least I think last year you guys had a table there.
Yeah.
So students can connect with you. So we are excited that we will be able to visit your campus again.
Yeah, and definitely if anybody in the room comes and sees me walking around, definitely come say hello. Again, as a former transfer student myself, I love meeting transfer students and talking to you. Just an amazing, population of students that bring so much to our community and just to our campus. So, yeah, happy to come present at any point. Happy to answer any questions, but thank you for having us. We love the opportunity, and yeah, happy Tuesday.
And for those of you, the session has been recorded, and I put the website in the chat earlier as to where our seminars are posted once we have the opportunity to convert them to YouTube. So YouTube. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. And thank you, Josh and Linda. I appreciate you.
Yep.